In your house with nothing to do. Well, get your camera out. Go do something crazy inside the house. Hey, this is Tom with Tom's Tech Show, and I've like many are holed up in the house, nothing to do, no place to go. I mean, we have a backyard, so um, if you can get out in the backyard, if you can get out, get some sun, kind of thing, and grab your camera. I took my let's move some things around here. This desk is just, if you knew what was on this desk, I mean, it would just be. I got safety glasses. I got old man reading glasses. I've got garbage bags. I mean, it's a little crazy, but hey, let's deal with it. Okay, so if you are, let's go here. I mean, I took out my camera. I used this is my stock lens that came with the kit, which is a 18 to 135 lens, which worked pretty well. I wanted it for, the original kits that came out were like 18 to 55, and I'm like, why not wait for the whole zoomness, of it, so you can get, the 135. So I did that. I waited and got the 135 lens. Right now, the camera has a 50 millimeter 1.8 lens on it. So I switched back and forth. I used one lens and then used the other lens to see. We'll see. I haven't looked at the pictures yet. We'll see kind of like the blurry backgrounds, the bokeh, whatever that's there. We'll see what happens with that. Now, moving stuff around, I've lost stuff, so I need to find stuff like memory cards and things like that. So I do have this memory card. So I use this little adapter, right, for this memory card, because this is a little teeny tiny baby, micro SD memory card. So I use this because the camera, right, is, the full thing. But one nice thing, since I can pull this out, I have my little adapter here. This little adapter I got with the memory card. I think this is look, I'm going to be able to read that. Who makes this one? Sorry, Old Man Glasses. Here we go. This one is made by Unirex, some weird name. I have no idea. Anyway, it came with the little adapter. So with the little adapter, right, it plugs in. The memory card slides in here to the little adapter. Just slides right in there. You get right in there. And on this side, right, this side sticking up right here, that is standard USB. On this side is USB-C. So if I'm out somewhere and I have my phone and I want to look at the pictures, I can just plug it at the bottom of my phone. Boom, I can access the pictures. If I want a bigger screen, I can find my adapter. I have the camera adapter for my iPad, and I can plug that right in there and then plug that into the back of the side of my iPad, and then be able to access and edit. And I have Lightroom on my iPad, so I can do editing and all kinds of things like that with my iPad. So it's a really good universal thing that I found that I use all the time, getting the smaller cards and being able to, whatever, I want to be able to get to the pictures on whatever device I am using. So that's always good. And then, with the standard USB, you can just plug right into computer, and it will read them, and up we come. So here we go. I took a couple of pictures. Some of them are probably going to be good. Some of them probably are going to be bad. So let's just import them all and see what happens. It gives me something to do, right, while all this is going on. And being out in the sun is definitely a good thing, right, at this time. I don't know if you've got, maybe around, if you live in an apartment, maybe you got a little sun area where you can go out and maintain, social distancing and things like that, to be able to just go out and be able to get some sun and some outside time. And we're supposed to be able to go walking and other things like that. So we'll keep doing that. Okay. So let's look at some of these pictures. Okay. So that's a little flower, and that's a little blurry. So no. How's this one? That one's a little blurry too. So some of these, Wow, I was moving a lot, chasing chickens around. Okay, so that has a lot of clarity inside that. Look at all that. Look at all the goo. Look at all the pollen inside there, which is why, like right now, I have to take, medication for pollen because, man, all that pollen's out roaming around, causing a lot of problems. So, I took a couple of these. So there's that. I mean, I was trying to see the wall blurs out in the back there pretty nicely. So I may, kind of crop it a little bit just to, let's see, do a little bit of cropping, a little bit of cropping. We're going to bring this over so we kind of kill. I like the little pieces over there. I want to kind of leave that over on that side. Okay, that seems good. So that's pretty well cropped. I think I can close that out. Oh, there we get a little bigger view. Okay. So we're going to add just a little bit of sharpening, and I always do a little bit of noise reduction just because this camera is really has a small sensor, so it's not, I mean, it's only like 16 whatever megapixels. It's a Canon T4i from years and years ago, but hey, it takes pictures. So let's come here. Let's bring down the highlights and see if that does something. I always do that. Bring the whites up and turn the blacks down a little bit, get it a little bit more. So what are we looking at here? Okay, wow, that looks pretty good. So we can increase, if I add a touch of clarity, gonna change my darkness and brightness here, right? So they have this picture now. It's kind of add a little bit. I don't think I need any dehaze or anything, but that just looks. I mean, I almost want to just take the picture and crop it all the way down into that. I mean, that would be pretty crazy. Look at all the pollen on that. Wow, look at that's just tons and tons of pollen on there. Okay, so I do have that little piece over there. I want that gone. That little edge piece there, because I don't want your eye going over there. I want your eye coming in here to this part right here. So we can probably just increase. If I kill all the highlights, bring all the highlights, and that's pretty good. Shadows, one just a little bit. There we go. A little bit of shadow opening, so that inside this area where all the flower is in the middle here just kind of opens up there. Okay, well, I kind of like that. All right, now I was trying to take pictures of the chicken who was not cooperative at all. I don't even know if any of these things that, okay, open the shadow up. There she is. Okay, give some whites and blacks, little highlights off. I think maybe up the exposure for a little bit. I mean, exposure for the chicken is when she's towards the end of the year. When she molts, she's very weird because she doesn't lose like a feather this week and a feather next week and a feather the next week. She loses all of her feathers at once. So you're basically looking at a plucked chicken during the later months of the year. So, and it's about a month it takes her to grow all her feathers back. She's just really kind of crazy. Let's see if I take this and somewhere there's a copy. Previous reset. So, okay. Anyway, let's see. There was a copy. Where's the copy settings? They've moved everything around. Anyway, we will go here and kind of do the same thing. We're gonna give a little bit extra exposure. See if this one's a little better. Like, look at the eye and the face and stuff. See how well it did. Highlights down a little bit. Some whites off some blacks. Bit of clarity for the feathers. That one's kind of okay. How's this one? One here is a little bit different. That one's very blurry. So probably the first one looks pretty good. Without just crazy. I mean, whenever we're outside, she just tends, oh, let's run and find out what's going on over there. Okay, so that, oh, look at all that pollen right there. Wow. I did take my allergy medicine right away. These are in the front yard. So these first ones are with this lens, the 18 to 135. I think it's only a 5.6 lens. Or maybe it's 3.5. It's 3.5. Yeah, 3.5. But unless you zoom out all the way, then it changes variable. 3.5, 5.6, depending on what your zoom is. So, so we're going to crop up a little bit. Get our subject over off to one side. Rule of thirds, right? You want the subject to be somewhere in one of these lines that are drawn on the screen here. You want it to be at one of those 4 points typically. I mean, you don't have to do that, but photography rules, that's what they tell me. In my photography class from way back when, I'll have to show that at some point. My photography teacher from when I was in high school, which was a long time ago, 30 something years ago. Yeah. He's still teaching and he's still helping out and stuff, Mr. Taggart. He got me into photography and I never left it. He doesn't know it, but anyway. So kill the highlights, open shadows up a little bit, give it a little bit of whites, pull the blacks down a little bit. There we go. And pull this texture up just a little bit, just so we can see. Let me look at that. Look at the color of that. I mean, that is even no color adjustment, and I haven't even, done any like vibrance or saturation or anything. I mean, if I did that, it would go a little bit, you can go crazy with it, but almost need to pull the vibrance back a little bit. Oh, look at the kind of the detail that comes out when you pull the vibrance back a little bit. And the saturation just a little bit. Look at all that detail that shows up. All that detail in that flower. Look at the leaves there. Wow. That's pretty cool. I dig it. Okay, so now we do lens corrections. Got to make sure and do our lens corrections because it knows our lens. So we're going to go detail, do sharpening, introduction. Yeah, look at that. Look at all that stuff on there. Wow, that is just super crazy. That's what's in the front yard. That's what I'm breathing in my nose. That's what's, causing my sinuses to go crazy. But anyway. So this is another one of those. I like the first one pretty much. Then I went and I think this one here is these are little teeny tiny things. This is the 50 millimeter lens. So that's, what is it, I or something? Yeah, there we go. 50 millimeter, 1.8. That's 4,000th of a second at f1.8 ISO 100. So I think we can successfully crop this out. I want to leave the branch over there. The branch, I kind of like the branch. It's kind of a framing item. That little leaf there is a framing item, so we'll kind of use that to branch it out. It's very hard when you're shooting at 1.8. It's very hard to get things right, tack, spot, and focus. So I think I backed off a little bit in one of these somewhere, or maybe I didn't, but because the depth of field, right, is deeper than the flower is. So you have to be careful of that. Well, that one's kind of cool. Oh, let's see now here. So here, cancel. So here, this is f1.8, and you can see, it's very hard to get all of the tips of these leaves are more detailed and in focus than the back center of it. So, that's because the flower actually has a little bit of depth to it. You're really clipping it off. You really got to be spot on. So here, this one I changed to f3.2. So now almost all of that flower right there from back to front is in focus. So that, need to get rid of that leaf. Move that up, kind of like leaving it off to the side a little bit. So, and then we can go highlights down a little bit, shadows open just a little bit. I always pull my whites up just a little bit, just to expand the graph up in the top, because you can see the histogram here on the top of the screen. You want that to be, you want that to be pretty well expanded. I don't want to go a little crazy like that, but I might not move the blacks out any because there's not much there. So the whites, I can do a little bit. There we go. And then add a little bit of texture. Yeah, okay. Now we need everything, lens correction. Yeah, see me look at that. I mean, it didn't quite hit the focus in the very deep center there of the pollen part, but I mean the rest of the leaves and stuff just end up being really nicely detailed and stuff. So that's cool. That's another one of those. That one, I don't even know where that one is. Somewhere. It looks very dead. Exposure up a little bit. Yeah, there's not a lot of detail in that. So highlights down, shadows just a little bit up, white's a little bit up, white's a little more up. Not a whole lot of texture or anything in that. That's kind of boring. So we'll move on from that. So I took a couple of those. I think that's the one where it was straight down to the ground or something like that. Okay. All right, so this is back to the one that was by the garage. So if we come back here, there's this picture. The one at the garage. This was taken with the this 18 to 135, right? So, and it's at 135 millimeters, and we're taking an f8 ISO 100. So if I come over here to this one, this photograph was taken with the 50 millimeter at f3.2 at ISO 100 at 1/2000th. So I mean that right there. I mean there's more detail in that than the other one. Than the other picture. The lenses, there's less glass between you and the sensor. So just a little bit more detail there. All right, so let's start tweaking a little bit. Taking the highlights down. We do need to crop this out a little bit because I want less of the garage there. Make it a little bit wider. There we go. Open the shadows up because I want the back flower to actually also show. There, get the whites up a little bit. Starting to come up. There's space. So if I look up here in my histogram, there's space here for me to back the blacks out. So I want to be able to have the histogram have detail in every part of it. See this part up here on the top? There's almost nothing there. And the part here on the bottom, there's almost nothing there. So I can definitely pull the blacks back a little bit to see that, and pull the whites up a little bit more. Just kind of extend the dynamic range of the image a little bit. Okay. So we've got that, got our shadows open. We can add just a little bit of texture, and I pulled this vibrance back a little bit, and that seems to add quite a bit more detail and everything into that. Oh my gosh. Nice. That's very nice. A little bit of sharpening. Come down here, change my lens correction up. There. Oh, I like that. I mean, you can just see, look at the detail of the pollen in the leaf and everything else in the back here, and the pollen right there on there. That's just, and the little blurriness in the back and everything at that, everything kind of fades out, and you just get the picture of the flowers. I took like 3 of those, but they're all going to be about the same. Okay, so the first one is f3.2. The next one is f2.2. So did everything end up in focus? No, see, some of that's missing. The back one, the back stamen or whatever with the pollen is in focus. The front ones are out of focus. So down at 2.2, it's very hard to take a picture of a flower that's, maybe an inch, deep, because, it's just too much. So that 3.2 is just very, I love that. I'm just loving that one right there. Just loving the detail and the crispness and everything else in that. It just makes, wow. Flowers are fun because you can get all of this, creamy kind of detail with the little veins and lines and everything in it that the sensor picks up. That's just amazing. Just completely amazing. All right. Okay, so here is a thing from March 25th, 2016, that in 2016, my old high school photography teacher, Mr. Taggart, was still there, still helping people learn and trend love of photography. Tiger was an icon at San Juan High School, which is where I went, where he taught photography to both students and adults from 1958 to 1991. Wow. 30 years of teaching photography. So, yeah, he still does stuff. That's one of the old enlargers and stuff that we had back in the room and stuff. Just he kind of got me really into photography. I bought my own enlarger. We had our own, we did film developing, and the bathroom with shove the towel in the door and stuff to keep all the light from coming in and black out the window and everything else. So just thanks, Mr. Taggart, for getting me into that. I mean, I don't know if you're still alive. That was 4 years ago. You'd be 94 now. So, people along the way really help you and turn you on to something. And photography's always been there for, my entire life. And this is the guy that kind of helped get me into it and help keep me moving on it. It was always fun taking photography classes at the school. Okay, well, that's kind of what I've got for today. Little photography, a little bit of history, a little bit of fun, a little bit of get out of the house, go get out in the sun, do something, get away from being, cooped up. I did have to charge my batteries. My batteries were all dead, so I had to do that kind of thing. Had to find all of my parts, my adapters, and everything else. Gives me something to do on this weekend. All right. Well, take care of yourself, everybody out there, and we'll see you again real soon in the next video. All right. Thanks for watching.